What's up, gamers? Just wanted to show my 3DS collection off as well. Plus, I don't really have a lot of DS games as I sold them all a lot when I was younger to buy other games, which in hindsight we all know is a stupid decision. And I don't sell any games now, I just keep them unless they're like complete crap. Um, so I did get the 3DS day one. Got the black one because I kind of wanted the blue one, but when these came out, when you flip them open, it had black on the inside instead of blue, which I thought personally looks kind of silly. Um, so this one's obviously all black. We all know about that. And then I waited a little while to get this. This came out right around the time when New Super Mario 2, the coin one, came out with, where you collect all the coins. So I got that, and then I happened to be at the store, and I was just like, I really want bigger screens. So then I ended up getting that. And then the next iteration that came out that I just had to have was this. This was incredibly hard to get, so this is actually still sealed. Unfortunately, I never actually used it. So yeah, one day maybe. But the other 3DS, which is my current model, which I got the Sweet Majora's Mask plates for. I love this one. It's probably the best 3DS you can buy. That or the original, just for size wise. The XLs are cool, but personally they defeat the portability unless you have like a backpack or something like that, or a suitcase, that kind of stuff if you're bringing it with you, or if you're a portable home gamer who just uses it like you go to your couch and you go do some laundry and you bring it with you, yada yada yada. But personally, these are the best because you can just fit them in your pocket real nice and easy. But yeah, and then this model, to this date, there's only one game that actually like officially physically supports this, like a physical release, and that is this. There is another game coming out that will be a new 3DS exclusive, or at least it'll have enhancements. I'm not entirely sure. It's Runbow Deluxe Edition. So look out for that one. I think that might actually be sort of an uncommon game at some point. So here's my collection. Obviously, I just showed you this. Good game. Still never beat it. If you're gonna play it, I would play it on the Wii probably, or play it on your Wii U with the Wii disc. Just, I don't care what anyone says, the Wii U does upscale a tiny bit. It at least sharpens out some of the edges on the characters and the foliage and all that stuff. At least it looks like it does to me. I could be wrong though. So Sonic, or Sega Classics Collection 3D. This came with some stickers. I don't know, I guess that was just indicating that it came with the stickers. I really would like to use these, but they only give you one set, so I don't know, I just never really ended up using them for anything. But this is a pretty cool game. It's a lot of the classics. You got Alter Beast, Sonic 1, Puyo Pop 2, Power Drift, what does that say? Fantasy Zone, Thunderblade, and Galaxy Force 2. They just released a second one in Japan, so hopefully we get that here. These are really good. You can get all these games and the second version online, so look out for that one. It's coming out soon. Hyrule Warriors Legends. I like the Wii U version. This one has new 3DS enhancements to where it plays slightly more characters will be on the screen if you're playing it on the 3DS, which is nice, or the new 3DS. It's a fun game. I can't get into these Warriors games, but since it's Zelda, I caved in and bought them. 3D Land, really good game. I'd say this is not underrated because everybody obviously knows about this, but people don't give it enough credit. This and 3D World, they're pretty good games. They really are. I mean, they're not the huge Mario 64, Sunshine type things, but they are good games for what they're. If you can get them for $25 a piece, the Wii version and this version, I'd say pull the trigger on them. They're pretty good. I probably dumped every bit of 250 hours in this. Plus, they're now adding Amiibo support, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure on like the whole ins and outs of that and how it works, but I assume it'll support the Animal Crossing cards and the Animal Crossing actual Amiibos. And then you've got Link Between Worlds. This is a really good game. If you like A Link to the Past, then this is like its spiritual successor, I guess, or it might in some vein, it's kind of the successor to it. I'm not entirely sure. I never beat this because that happens with me on most Zelda games. I've beaten probably 40% of the games. I own them all, but you know, sometimes you just get stuck and then I just give up and don't go back. We've all been there. And then Ocarina of Time. Since I had the 3DS the day it came out, this should have been a launch title, but it wasn't. So this came out maybe 3 months after the original 3DS launch date. Had this been there for launch, I think they wouldn't have struggled at the beginning of the 3DS. I really don't, because this is like a perfect 10 out of 10 on like any website and any magazine you read, because it truly is one of the best games of all time. This Zelda I have actually beaten. Another Zelda, Majora's Mask, I have not beaten. Pretty close. Kind of gave up. I'm on hiatus from Majora's Mask because I think it's a fair assumption to say this is one of the harder Zeldas. At least I would say. New Yoshi's Island, pretty good game. Very short, but if you can get it for like $20, I'd say pull the trigger on that too. Good game. Yoshi's Mansion 2, or Dark Moon rather. Good game. Kind of wish this used the C-stick or nub, whatever you want to call it, to actually control the vacuum and stuff, but definitely another pickup if you can get it for 20, 25-ish. Mario Kart 7. This was great until 8 came out, and now playing 8 and going back to this is just not the same, if that makes sense. The handheld versions are usually pretty good, but I don't know, it's just not the same after you've played 8. Smash Bros. For the 3DS, another really good game. I honestly play this one more on the 3DS than I do the Wii U. Just because, you know, if I go to like a doctor's appointment, or if I'm on a road trip, or, you know, just going somewhere in the car and I'm not driving, I'll pop this in and you can play it anywhere. It's a great game. And I actually pre-ordered this at Best Buy, like I said, a long time ago. And they gave you this little coin. I never opened mine, so this is still sealed, and I just kind of left it in there. No real need to open it, but one day I might do something with it. So these 3, you're not going to see in most people's collections, but I got these, and what was the other big game for launch? I don't think there really was a big launch game for the 3DS. That's why I got these 3, like I got it day one, so like that's why I got these 3 like not that good of games. I mean, they're good in their own right, but that's not as good as the PC version. I've already played Lego games too much, and this is just I want to say this is the N64 ported up to 3DS standards. So good games, but they're only really in my collection just because at this point. Fire Emblem Awakening, I never beat this either. Very tough, time-consuming game. One day I'll get around to it. Bravely Default, another sad story of never beating it because it's just too long, and I got stuck at some point. From what I've been told, you basically play through this multiple times through the same story, and like little variants change throughout the story. So I guess if you beat it one time, then you know you've already beaten it. Let's see, New Super Mario Bros. 2. This is the reason I ended up getting the XL, was for this game, just because I was in the store and had an extra $250 or however much it was. Good game. Definitely not worth $40, but if you can find it cheaper, get that. This, on the other hand, to me, I love Kirby. Probably one of my favorite Nintendo series. I own most of them, 75% of the Kirby games probably. Really good game, along with Triple Deluxe. I'd say this is probably worth about $30 or so if you can find it for that. Very short, just like the Yoshi game, but so if you beat it once, you can replay it with Meta Knight, which is kind of cool. But I think they're timed, so I don't know. It gives you like a time rush mode, which is it's okay, but it is a very good game though. I will give it that. This game I'm currently playing through right now. I'm actually enjoying it. I think it's a really good game. A lot of people were kind of soured by Sticker Star, which I also beat that. It was okay. It wasn't great, but this is definitely a worthwhile pickup. Pokemon Y, good game. Obviously, I grew up. I was 10 when Pokemon came out, so I grew up with the originals, and I remember them very fondly. So all these new ones they just don't do it for me, like the original 151. Nothing can ever replace those, but this has some of the 151 sprinkled in it, so you know. Yokai Watch. This was a new IP from Nintendo. It's kind of like Pokemon, but a little different. Sadly, another RPG that I never beat on my 3DS. Again, one day I'll get around to it, but the second one is coming out, which has 2 variants, which is Spooky Spirits and Shaky Bones or something like that. I don't know. I'll probably pick up one of them just to have it. Happy Home Designer. I'm also a huge Animal Crossing fan. I played this for a little while. I did truly give it a shot, but it's not very great. And this came with a Tom Nook, which I still kept sealed just because it came with it. Let's see. This I got really cheap. I think this was a launch title or in the launch window. This is a pretty cool game. It kind of plays like Advance War almost, kinda, but not quite. I'd love for Nintendo to make another Advance War, but I don't think that's going to happen at this point. We got Omega Red or Omega Ruby. This I actually did like because it was this. I guess this was the 2nd or 3rd generation of Pokemon, so I still remember them as a kid, but again, they just don't do it for me like the originals do. Codename Steam. Pretty good game. Definitely different. This is a new IP. I don't know if this actually sold well to where Nintendo will make a sequel. I'd like them to, but to me, this would almost be better if Nintendo had done like some online co-op in this with like mic support, so you could like do squad movements and do that kind of stuff. But this is Nintendo we're talking about. We're not going to get any online play. This I believe is sort of rare. I also got this was the 4th game I got on launch. Because this has the slipcover. I never see these, and I'm pretty confident they're worth a good bit of money on eBay. This is actually a really good port of this game too. There probably aren't many fighting games on the 3DS, so if you ever want one that's good, go for this. It is actually a really good port, and the 3D is really good on it too. Plus, if you can find this, come on now, you know that looks cool. Got a few more here. Got Triple Deluxe, which I already told you about. Also a really good game, but again, if you can get it cheaper, go for it. Pretty short game, but I mean, it has replay value to it, but not much. Sticker Star, everybody's favorite 3DS game. I enjoyed it. I think it's worth a playthrough. I really do. So go ahead and give that a shot if you can find it. And this is probably my most played 3DS game. This was when Star Fox was in his prime. I actually do enjoy the GameCube ones. Most people don't, but I do. I think they're great. So I would say those 3 are my favorite. Star Fox Command's also really good too. It's actually a really cheap game too for the DS. Let's see. And then we got some limited editions. This is still in the plastic. It is open now. I got the games in there too. That's just how I store them. And that is actually still sealed. One day I think those might actually be rare. Not this, but he will be. Just because this is the only way you could get him. He's not actually any different than the regular Mega Man. So like he won't give you gold anything. As far as I know. But this box is badass. I will say that. I love the artwork all over it. I think there's some. Oop. I guess it's just that one side. Then you got the Etrian Odyssey games. They, if you got them like on launch day or whatever, they came with like a music CD and like an art book and that kind of stuff. It is open. I just keep them in the plastic just to protect the boxes. Another game people kind of didn't really enjoy very much was Chibi Robo Ziplash, but I love Chibi Robo as a character. The GameCube one is one of my favorite GameCube games of all time. So I figured why not support Chibi Robo. on his latest adventure so that Nintendo will support Chibi Robo. So if you can find that, I would buy it at a retail store so that you can show your support for Chibi. This is quickly becoming one of the rarer collector editions, I guess you could say, even though really it just comes with this big box, which comes with, where does it say it? Just comes with like a little stand for your 3DS, which I honestly never used, but I'm glad I bought this when it came out. I only paid $40 for this. It's considerably more than that now, if you can even find it. Then we got Etrian Mystery Dungeon. This is another one of those games. Came with you know, the music CD and a little art book or whatever. It is open. Nope, another RPG I never finished. This is another one that I think might one day be rare, which I did start, couldn't get into, but one day I will beat this because they seem like really cool games. The sequel is only $20 right now at most stores. I don't even think it's on sale. I think it's just at $20 now because they didn't sell well. So I've heard these are really good if you like strategy-based, turn-based RPGs. You know, if you can get into the story, because it's like a mashup. It's got like, you know, Capcom. There's Tekken guy, Sega. That's the Dot Hack guy. I don't know who all these people are, but obviously that's Ryu. I don't know, one day I'll get into it, but this is the limited edition, which came with a art book, poster, and a soundtrack. These are pretty hard to find, but you can still get them for under their MSRP, so if you can find it, go ahead and pick one up. I think these will be worth something one day. So there's 2 Adventure Time limited editions for the 3DS, and then both these games also came out on the Wii U, and I'm not sure about the other consoles. So I do need to get them for my Wii U collection eventually, but they didn't get collectors for that. So this is the not rare one. I mean, they're both kind of not common, but the other one is the actual rare one that's worth a good considerable amount of money, which I don't have. But you get a nice little CD, little art book, and then the actual game. Plus, I don't know. It's just cool to get a little. I know I don't really watch the show much. My sister loves this show, but I think his name's BMO. I've never played this, to be honest with you. I just got it because it was $20. This was sealed at one point. But yeah, could be a cool game. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get into it. Too many 3DS games. This is one limited edition that is actually probably the most common and easy to get, but it is a nice limited edition. You get the book, the art book, there's a CD in there. This actually still has the little slipcover, which most people throw away, but being a collector, I kept it. Cool game. I'm not huge into the Shin Megami Tensei games, but it's okay. This is another game that I do foresee being rare one day. Mine is open. Pretty cool game. The art style, I love the art style in this game. And this collector's edition is not common, but not super rare. I don't think it could be. I'm not sure. I haven't checked prices in a while. But, you know, standard stuff. Art book, music CD, and, you know, all that jazz. The art style in this game is phenomenal, though. I really do enjoy it. I forget what his name, the guy that did it, but this is my dude right here, little frog guy. He's pretty cool. And I'll save the rarest one for last. The rarest one that I have. And here's Bravely second. I had to have this, even though I didn't beat the first one. And I don't have the first one in limited edition, but I had to get this when I saw it. This has a huge, massive art book. It's like that thick. It's like 250 pages. Beautiful art book. Just for that alone, it's kind of nice. These were $80, I think, when they came out, but I think you can get it for cheaper than that now at this point in time. And my last 3DS game might be the envy of all 3DS owners, is the Fire Emblem Fates Special Edition. This Fire Emblem, I'm actually quite a good ways through it. This one is fantastic. I love this game. If you're buying a 3DS for the first time, and you somehow stumble across my little YouTube channel to watch this video, do yourself a favor and either get this, or the big edition if you can somehow come across it for cheap. This is a must-own 3DS game. It really is. I can't speak highly enough of this game. If Nintendo did something like this for the NX as a launch title, when did this come out? This was late last year, I guess. So they probably won't have a Fire Emblem ready for a little while, a couple years. But I'd hope they do another one, because I think between this and the last one, they were debating on getting